Singapore is a regionally developed country having this wholesale electricity market and also further its retail electricity market. So, and the other hand, Singapore transmission network is 100% owned by the government sector through Singapore Funding Scheme. Then in like 1970, 5 decades back, Singapore has decided that they are going to kind of investment chains, arms like Temasek, right? So having that kind of fully government-owned transmission network and providing wholesale and retail market structures to Singaporean citizens, they are maintaining a very good quality of electricity, but at a higher price, regionally higher price. So we would like to hear from our friend from Singapore, Engineer Nandakumar and Muthuvel. He will talk about the Singaporean electric market, and he will try to guide the Sri Lankan market, the new act, and the proposed bill proposed by the end. Nandakumar.
Okay, good evening, guys. So just a change, I'm going to speak in English. So my single fluency is gone, man, by now. Yes, I'm not related to any engineering, energy market in Singapore, but I'm working in a private entity. But sharing this, I use all public informations, and anybody here can just see online and verify it. So we heard about different structure of pricing and regulations from previous presentations and what monopoly can do it and so on. So there are a lot of issues around this power or any market in the world, right? So every country, they have to look for what is best for their countries, but there are common rules, right? So the common rules we can get it, or common patterns we can learn from other countries. By sharing this, I'm not claiming that you can directly apply this to Sri Lanka. It's not just a retrofit to there, but there are ways to apply those knowledges from other countries. So when you talk about independent here, right? So when you talk about the monopoly, and okay, the word used it by Zulmapia, right? Those are the media words is used around the world when you talk about the monopolies. Actually, the independent means there's a kind of misunderstanding on independent. Independent means, oh, everything independent, they can operate well. Okay, you need to understand the independent is how to operate a kite. Kite can fly, but there's a string attached to that. It's how the independent market works. So there's a string attached to the government and the policy orders, but it's not like a drones, right? So we can't give the remote controllers to someone operate the markets, so they can operate the drone what they like it. So that's a slightly different when you talk about independent. Is you can assume like when you talk about independent, it's like you are a free bird flying in the net. It's not a small net, it's a big net. Or flying a kite. It's still there's a string to be attached is to moderate the situation. So that's how most of markets works. I think that's the approach. I think every country, including Sri Lanka. Yeah. Yep.
Are you playing the slides or?
Yeah, but I'm going to next slide. So okay. Right. So when you talk about I'm just talking about independent. Okay. So when you talk about independent, it's always attached to like a string, right? So it still is a free fly. Okay, so in Singapore, how the market operates, I think it's a familiar slides. Most of people have seen it. There's a power plants. On the left, you see how the power flows. Those are power plants. It goes through a network. You can call it transmissions and the distributions, and it will reach the consumers. Consumer can be any consumers, right? Similarly, there's a separate how the dollars flows, right? The money flow, right? The financial flow. They set up wholesale markets. So the wholesale markets buy from power plants and they moderate the markets. Those are independently operated private entities, but it's controlled by regulations. They cannot go beyond the regulations. Also there's a competitive market, so it controls the price. Meantime, there's a moderated tariff controlled by the power grid. An example is a retailer. Assume I'm a retailer, like a domestic retailer. I can subscribe to any retailer market. I can buy my utility. There are different retail markets, players, they can sell in a discounted price. So there's a competitive market there because they buy as a bulk from the wholesale, then they sell it to the retailer. So typically, I buy lower than the market price. It will be contracted for like 2 years. I pay lower than a market rate. So how the retail business is more competitive in a way. It's help the consumer so that they will buy lower price than a moderated tariff. Assume the company I'm buying, example, there's a retailer, so I'm buying the retail. Oh, we may worry about it. Just I think somebody shared that. What happened? The company is no more. No, my account will automatically transfer to the power grid. That means it's a moderated fixed tariff. So it will go to the moderator. Again, can go to open market and buy my electricity. It's very competitive markets. There's no monopoly. All are many retailers. Anybody investor, they can come to the retailer. They can register as a retailer company. They can work with a wholesale and buy a bulk power from them. So this is a system I think earlier is presented is kind of I think model 3 and 4, but it's proven it's workable for last about 10 years. Now every consumer can buy from the retailer. So it's always is discounted price. I'll move to the next slide. Just to give electricity house generous operators, this is Genco. Go to the power grid. It's a single company own the transmissions and the consumers. So consumer, there's a one is called non-contestable and contestable. The contestable one, I say that you can buy from retail markets. Non-contestable, you can go to the conventional tariff, buy from power grid. So this is how the system works. System is there. So this system is proven, very transparency, all controlled by regulations and set of rules there. So it's a free market, independent market, how they build the reliability through this. So that's the one entity we call Energy Market Authority, or over about that. The other one is a government entity we call government agency. This government agency is not a power grid operators, or it's not a Genco. It's an authority under the government's ministry. This ministry is under the ministry, but there are board members from publics. So they operate the power system. They're called PSO, power system operator. They moderate the power quality and reliability in the system. They monitor the entire system 24/7, part of the authority. In addition to the operator, in addition to the transco companies. Also, they have an industry developer. They bring up the industry through skill and investment and so on. Also, they regulate the similar to what we are discussing about, right? New regulation, new legislations will come in, they regulate. Also, the regulations very transparent. Okay, I'm sharing a very recent one. There's a public consultation. It's automatic process to go to public. Once they have done a R&D or statistic or some reviews or some results-based change in the legislations, they will form a working group. They will do it, and it will go to the public. So the public can go online and put their comments and so on. Also, we go and visit this one. I think you can Google it using the title here. Also, this PDF I put in here. Actually, they publish the comments back So in there, that means it's very transparency. They will take up the major comments and they put answer whether they can do it or not. It's not a, it's in the, will not let me in somewhere in the closed room. It's all in public. So we know that is the process is clear and transparent. So to summarize, what I'm trying to do is that it's always as a comprehensive process. That's what I think is missing back at there, right? Also, all are research-based and or statistic-based decisions. It's not just plug out ideas and put it on the legislations. All are research-based. Also, public comments are considered. It's not ignored. So also the experts groups are working on that. The last one is the third last one is a proven system that is easy to understand and implement because the system is proven now, is going well. Something I think you need to understand here that I think maybe some people and think about, okay, we talk about the EMA I mentioned earlier or Singapore Power. You can say, okay, you heard about the word about Temasek earlier, right? Oh, those are privatized government-owned companies. One thing we need to understand that those are financial independence, or those are created for financial stability and independency, but they will not interfere the operation independence of that entities. That's done by different group of people who is working there, also the panels. Also, it's also always a future focused. So the previous one I shared here is actually they are focusing on the renewable energy. So it's kind of future focused. And Singapore is, I think, currently about close to slightly above 8 gigawatt demand. It will expected to go in 2030 about 11 to 12 gigawatts. They want to go for renewable energy, bring in power from neighborhoods, and also undersea cable, also generations. It will close to 50% of renewable energy by 2030, 2035. So the process is transparent, also is independent, because there can be a system can work independent, same time is owned by governments and also other entity. So the framework control that independency. Does make sense? So that's all I have.